Hello and welcome to the LEAH Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I'm here with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
Happy Friday, guys. Hi.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Readjusting. I was like, oh crap, wrong time. Okay. Hi, guys. Happy Friday.
Yeah, so we have a fun lineup for you guys tonight. A handful of serious stories, as always, and we're going to in not serious ways, right? That's what we do here.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. We put the human in humanism.
Damn straight. I mean, I was going to try to put dog in it, but it didn't. I don't know. It just didn't fit. So, anyways,
fun fact: God is just dog spelled wrong. Fun fact.
It's just a little backwards.
Yeah.
So, first things first. The Tara Reid. The Tara Reid. I wanted to give a little update because there seems to be well, for anyone who doesn't know, I should always recap. I need to get that the habit of recapping. Tara Reid is Joe Biden's accuser. She of sexually assaulting her back in, it is 92, right? Or 93?
93.
93. Thank you. And this seems to be a very credible allegation. And she has collaborating evidence of her mother calling Larry King live back in the 90s. She's told a friend, her brother, her sister, a neighbor, multiple people on, most of them back in the 90s, and then just a few people who are closer to date, who know. So people have corroborated, and it looks like credible allegations. So there's a new thing, though. I don't know the timestamp on this one. It was a while back, though, when her husband mentioned how she had personal issues at Joe Biden's office. And he mentioned that in a court document when they were getting awards, and that it was a really big deal, and it still bothered her and influenced her at that point in time. So that is new evidence supporting that something happened, right? And that, just that small point, though I believe everything she says, because one, Joe Biden, super creepy. He smells women on camera, right? But the fact that his campaign has gone so far out of their way, Joe Biden has, to say, no, nothing like that ever happened, and no one has ever made a complaint. Even that hasn't even happened. So showing any evidence with a claim like that is really damning to the Biden campaign. And there are more calls every day for Biden to step down. And just because Biden could step down doesn't mean we're going to get anyone great, like a Bernie Sanders, but is more and more likely that we could get like a Hillary Clinton back in there or something like that. And it's disgusting.
Klobuchar.
Yeah, Klobuchar, yeah.
Somebody like that. Definitely.
I really hope it's not like Klobuchar or Buttigieg, it doesn't look like they're actually going to drop him. But
no, he's not going anywhere.
It would just be our luck that it would be someone so close to equally as awful.
Right. And I don't.
Anywho, sorry, bud.
He's not dropping out, or nobody's taking him down. He's their man.
Yeah.
They're standing by him. Yes. By him, Biden.
Yeah, yes, I was thinking that too.
It's the all of the people who, Bernie bros, they're so mean to me. I have been attacked on YouTube in comment sections of other people's videos by that
Wait,
I
those can't
must be
exist.
so privileged to not just bow down and vote for him, and they don't understand that two things can be true. Like you can, like the neighbor of Tara Reid, who says, I'm using this as an example, who says, I believe Tara Reid. She was my neighbor at the time. We had this heart to heart. We were talking about what happened to me, what happened to her, and she was very emotional about it. I believe her 100%. However, I'm still going to vote for Biden. And that's honest. I can respect that because that's her saying, I am more terrified of Trump. I can still believe Tara, and I am still voting for Biden. And I know
that's a really important thing.
It's just two things can happen. You can agree that he is an appropriate person for president, but I hate Trump, or the person hates Trump so much that, yeah, it would suck if it's true, but I'm not really going to research it or look into it too much because I already have made up my mind. And that's, they talk about Cult 45, like Trump's cult. It's the same. It's the same on both sides. It's a cult following of, I understand Trump is the worst president. I'm never going to be voting for him. So I'm in a really tough place. Like a lot of people, I can acknowledge that her evidence, the evidence that supports Tara Reid's claims, are more significant than Christine Blasey Ford had, and more in quantity as well. As well as quality. She has, contemporaneous evidence. And now with this police, her ex-husband now, but husband at the time, filed a report. So,
that's it really is a big deal. Like as much evidence as we're getting, it really makes it more and more credible every day, every week. And she had an interview with Megyn Kelly and I forget the man's name. I didn't watch the interview yet.
Larry King.
No.
No,
I don't think.
Why did I see Larry King? He's got a bigger show. Before you go into that, I think it's really funny that these Megyn Kelly's interview is touting that, at least we'll look into it, when Democracy Now! Told this story like years ago. Many places have told this story. Even The Rising on the Hill told this story like a month or two. They were talking about it way before anyone would even acknowledge it. They were counting the days. So to me, that's kind of cultish of, I'm not going to even look because it looks like it's too bad. And if it's too bad, well, that's going to make me have cognitive dissonance, which that's what that feels like, guys, if that's where you're at.
Yeah, no kidding. No, it's crazy. And the thing that I was going to mention is that, so she did this interview with Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly's she's not mainstream anymore, right? So all of these actual mainstream shows and networks like MSNBC and CNN, they want her on, and they're all kind of freaking out about why did she go to this weird off whatever first before like coming to us. And what's funny and angering about that is that Rising, for instance, had an interview with her 42 days ago.
Yep.
So 42 days ago.
Yep.
Right. And before them, she was on Democracy Now! and she
a long time ago
really broke this story with Katie Halper, and that was over a week longer than Rising Head. So like 50 days ago, basically. And now they're complaining that she hasn't come on their show when she has offered and she had wanted to.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know them anything.
Now it's about ratings. Now
it's about ratings.
They tried to not talk about it because it would be bad for their team, for their tribe, and they just couldn't look at it. But now that it is out there, it's about ratings. So they feel, as legacy media, they feel entitled. Like, well, why wouldn't you come to me? We're this huge, inter-name network, and why would you choose the opposition? You're supporting Trump then? That's so dumb.
No, yeah, it's ignorant is what it is.
Caveat, I'm not calling any person dumb. I'm calling that idea dumb.
Mindset.
In case someone's watching is like, whoa, this is not a humanist channel.
They're ruthless. So anyways,
we should be ruthless to attack the ideas.
I have only heard good things about this interview so far. It looks like it was about 42 minutes long. I'm going to go ahead and share a link to it down in the live chat so you guys can check it out when you're done here. Just go ahead and open it up and come right back to us.
Yeah.
But don't touch that dial. But yeah, there you go. I'm going to be watching first thing in the morning tomorrow. I can watch it, but I didn't know about it earlier today. So that's all there. We're going to go ahead and change our topic. So the other thing that I want to cover, this is actually really awesome. This is happy news, guys. Are you guys ready for happy news? Christy, are you ready for happy news?
I'm scared.
Why is Mac bluffing? This can't be good.
I better buckle up.
I'm sure you heard. Andrew Yang?
Mm.
Did you hear yet?
Yes.
Maybe so. All right. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't read the story.
Okay. Well, I think last week we had mentioned that New York canceled their primaries.
Yeah.
The presidential bid. And that's infuriating. Like everything we talk about. I say the same thing all the time, over and over. Everything makes me mad. But no, yeah, they canceled their presidential primary because, it's just Biden, right? Everyone else has dropped out. Nothing else matters except for delegates that you get if people vote for you. That way you have more pull on and how we organize the party going forward. That's important, especially for a Bernie Sanders reason of like if you're for that idea of we need to take over the party from the inside, right? You want to have as many delegates, as many people working in that party as you can to help form it in a way that you think is best. And by canceling the primary, that really suppresses that idea. It's not good. So before I say this part, from what we've heard, there was a deal struck between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden that, hey, yeah, we know this is being canceled, but we're going to work together. So, like, no matter what, we're going to share the delegates, and we're going to make sure that you are in the room helping to make the rules, which is a decent deal. That's good. I don't think that's as good as just letting the voting happen, even if they like freaking rig it, as we have been showing they most likely did. But fun part is, last week we mentioned Andrew Yang sued the Democratic Party in New York for canceling the primary. And I was like, way to go. Go, Andrew. Thank you. thank you for doing something. He's the only one who did something. And court looked at it and they said, nope, this has to happen. We're putting this show back on the road. So Andrew Yang got the Democratic primaries in New York uncanceled. And go Andrew Yang. That's really, really awesome. I appreciate him a lot for that. So there was just an update in that story. Go ahead, Christy. Add on.
Democracy matters. And he will be remembered for a lot of things in history books. One of the youngest, the first Asian, many things. A smart man. But this is going to, like, he saved democracy is how that's going to be written. And it's a pretty big deal.
It really is a big deal. He did a really good thing. And I extra want to point it out because I really did like Andrew Yang during the primaries, and it made me really upset that he backed Biden before he backed Bernie. That was a dumb choice. But Andrew Yang's not the only one I liked during the primaries, right? Like, I've been pretty vocal about I like Tulsi Gabbard. I like Bernie Sanders, obviously. Andrew Yang's the only one who did anything about it. Bernie Sanders didn't do shit about it. He just struck some deal and was like, yeah, I guess. Tulsi didn't say anything about it that I saw. That's so disappointing. So I'm really glad that Andrew Yang did do something and actually got results out of it. So every Bernie supporter should be really patting Andrew Yang on the back right now, because he's the one who gave shit about something so important to this movement. So that's all I have to say there. Are you ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
All righty. So got another topic here. Economic meltdown or crash. So this is also going to be another short one. Christy's got the fun topic. That's why I'm just still talking. I'm sorry, everyone. I know you're not here for me. You're here for the silver vixen over there. All right, we have. So there's another stimulus package coming out, or like an addition to it. And one of the big focuses on this package is a capital gains tax cut. And that's annoying. And one of the things they're trying to do, so they're trying to give more money as they're trying to save bigger companies a lot of money, they're also trying to give some money to smaller businesses. All right, these small businesses are classified as I can't remember both codes, but one is a 501 C6.
Yeah.
And that is potentially a problem because most lobbying groups are actually classified as a 501c6. That's interesting. So their argument is, well, these lobbying groups, they've been here forever. People have jobs, they need funded, and they help write legislation. Like they need us to help write legislation and do what's best for the country. So one, it makes the whole legislative branch look incompetent when you let them say it like that. One, that's my biggest issue, I think, or second biggest. And two, you don't do that. That's why we have a legislative branch, is to legislate, right? We don't need to pay private companies or private groups to help the people we elect do their jobs. Especially 100 different specialties, right? They want to bail out, they want to get money to lobbying groups, people who lobby for companies. There is a lobbying group for lobbyists.
It's just insane, the webs
Inception.
that, certain policies that have been enacted over the last the New Deal to tear down our safety nets instead of build them up. And you want to spread them out so that more people are taken care of and more people are helped, and less pain and less suffering and less homelessness. Those are the things that they needed to end, and they did it in policies. And in 2010, when Citizens United became law of the land, that people get a vote and they should be treated with human rights, and corporations are now people, and so their right to have a political opinion matters as well. And money can be used, if you don't think about it and you just take their word for it, as free speech. So money's free speech, and corporations are people, and that is part of the law of the land here. And so we get to where we are, where our Congress is talking about bailing out the gangsters at the top and not giving the people who make this country a country anything. It's heartbreaking.
It is. It is. It's really annoying
Are
too.
you tired of winning
Yeah. So actually, let me read a little bit of this from The Intercept, where they reported on this, because The Intercept actually cares about stories like this. Where should I start? Okay. I'm just going to read like 2 little paragraphs here, and probably slowly, because I'm not the fastest reader. And I didn't pre-read any of it. All right. Many of the largest lobbying forces are organized under the 501c6 section of the tax code as trade groups. Corporations with similar concerns pool their money together to fund trade groups, which in turn employ thousands of lobbyists to shape elections and legislation on a daily basis. But the Paycheck Protection Program, the centerpiece of the Small Business Rescue Program, was excluded from such trade groups, and that could change in the next round of stimulus legislation, which Congress is scheduled to debate later this month. Lobbyists have stepped up a campaign to make sure professional influence peddlers are eligible for the PPP, the Payment Protection Program, or P3 funds. The push also includes demand for an additional $25 billion for canceled events and other lost revenue from the coronavirus pandemic. Senior Democratic lawmakers, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, plan to accommodate the demand and change the eligibility standard so the small business bailout money can flow to business advocacy groups. So there's your little breakdown. I'm going to, again, link this down in the live chat so you guys can read the whole thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because, well, that would take forever for me to read it anyways. Yeah, so this is really, really aggravating for all the reasons I just already said. And this hasn't gone through yet, right? This thing that I posted down below, this reporting was posted 3 days ago. And have you heard it yet? I didn't hear about it until today, and I don't think we're gonna hear much about it. That's infuriating because we can stop this. If there's enough public like push back, then we can do something about it. Like if it makes Nancy Pelosi look bad, she doesn't want to do it, right? So if you share this on Facebook, if you're vocal about it to your friends and beyond, it can cause pushback, and we could stop that section of the bill. Because look, I've said this time and time again, and then I'm gonna get off of it for the night. We need a bailout for everyone, individuals, right? If we give every individual money to make their rent and get food and just be able to live with the necessities until we can open up the economy again, then we don't need to give any special interest.
Independent rent for all. I don't know. Independent
just a UBI.
Rent justice for all. Independent rent justice for all.
Yeah. Well, we need to just freeze the banks is what we need to do. We need to do that. Freeze. And yeah, it's just like, doesn't that make sense to just give all the individuals money, and then we don't need to give these special interest groups money because they each individually have money that they're fine now. We didn't exclude them from anything. They just don't need anything special, right? They don't.
It's like a bloodbath for who can get the most of the taxpayer money. It's a giveaway. It's a wealth heist. That's not hyperbole at all. It's a wealth heist, and we are right in the middle of a crazy time in history that, I obviously, you guys know I love history, but reading about it and seeing some parallels all the time because history repeats itself. This is really scary because we have the 1918 pandemic parallel, and we have the 1929 crash parallel. And what we need is a strong leader who will be strong enough to look the lobbyists and the people who want to rob the treasury, look them in the eye and say, I welcome your hate. We're going to do this right. We're going to take care of everyone, which means you have to give up a little bit and they're going to get a little bit. So it doesn't have to be even. You're not going to have to be the same amount of poor as a poor person. Ew, icky. I know you hate that. It's gross. However, you'll still be wealthy, just they won't be starving.
Right. It's just, we don't have a government that cares about the people. We just don't. And they claim, they really push that caring about the economy is what's best for everyone, right? I just listened to 3/4 of a Dave Rubin and Glenn Beck interview. That was excruciating because it is so just not humanist. Glenn Beck has some abhorrent views, and their mask is just, I'm just being real and just being smart and logical about things. I'm not emotional at all about any of this. I'm sorry. I'm just so smart and I can't keep it in, and I need to tell you. It's just how he comes off. So you have to trust all his facts.
He's thinking about his high-minded ideas.
His high-minded ideas, yeah. Those high-level ideas. Dave Rubin. But no, Glenn Beck is just, I really used to love Glenn Beck. But yeah, that was a painful part in my life. Yeah. He's a smart guy. He is a smart guy. And I feel like in some ways he is principled, but he has some pretty disgusting principled views, and that's just too bad. Anyways, I'm not going to go on a rant about Glenn Beck.
Always smart people dictators. Very, very smart and conniving.
Yep. Yeah.
And
He's
that's what I think about Beck.
Yeah. He was really pushing. This is why I brought him up. And then I promise I'm done. It's going back for the night. Is he was pushing for we need to open up the economy. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to kill people, but like I'm more like how he worded it is I'm more worried about the economy than the individual, and acting like that's not kind of toxic and gross. He's just like, no, that's just how it has to be. And like I know that's his view, but listening to 15 minutes of the 45 minutes I listened to it's always like refreshing in a slime kind of way. You know what I mean? To actually hear it from the horse's mouth. So yeah, done. I'm upset at what they're trying to put in the stimulus package or expansion, and I hope someone pulls an Andrew Yang and does something. So that's all I have to say. You're muted, Christy, if you're trying to talk. Oh, okay. Well, I actually am like done talking, so you can unmute it.
I have Mrs. Betty Bowers, America's favorite Christian.
Yes.
Well, I follow her because she makes that little part in my heart that hurts because of dumb policymakers. She makes that part of my heart like bloom. I just love her so much. She had an amazing tweet that, I mean, to me, I think everyone should see it. She writes, sacrifices have to be made for Donald's re-election. They're called humans. That's what happens when you make medical decisions for political reasons. Donald's campaign theme should be, just tell me how many people do I have to kill to get reelected. That's the end of the tweet. I'm like, oh, damn. But so if you guys do not follow her, what are you doing with your life? I'm following her on Twitter. It's great. But on YouTube, being able to watch her videos, they're all short. She does have some that are like one's 11 minutes, but most of them are 1, 2, 3, and 4 minutes long. They're so good. She is smart and she plays America's favorite Christian perfectly.
She does. It really is a really good channel. One thing that I do want to point out, because I feel like I don't quite say it enough, and it was put a really, really good way to me. I'm sure you'll pick up where I picked it up, Christy. But Trump is the village idiot. We all know this is like identity politics. Like to me, like so much of it is just apparent. I don't need to talk about it so much. Trump is the village idiot. We know this. He says stupid things. He lies. And there's a lot of people who thinks that's the guy in charge. And he is. But he's the village idiot. Right? So like we can't let what he says distract us because there's so much else going on. There's just so much else going on. And also we can't elect a president whose platform is, I'm going to make fun of the village idiot. He's stupid. I'm the soul of the country. And he's dumb. Did you know he's dumb? That's just baseline,
where we're
my
at.
friends. That's just baseline. Like, we don't need to fucking talk about it. We need to know more. We need to know more. So, again, I'm done. Please, let's change the topic. So, Christy, not have me go on another rant.
Asked a scientific or a medical question, and this thing says he knows, which doctors told you. He's like, I know it because of up here. It was like four years ago, right after his inauguration. Oh God, it's been almost 4 years. It feels like 10.
Yeah. By the time we're done, it might be.
Been under the weather, as you guys can hear. However, I might have to, while I'm talking about Venezuela, I might have to mute and blow all the mucus out of my nose. So I don't sound like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, as I do right now. So I will do that now and prepare for, I guess this is going to be, and this is part 2 of failed attempts at coups in Venezuela.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm very ready for this. I'm very excited. If you were not going to like spearhead this one, I was like, okay, I will happily do it. Yeah, this is something else. So, are you ready to go, or do you want me to recap a little bit for everybody?
I'm ready.
All right, go for it. Ready.
Okay, hold on. Let's get back to this over here. Take a sip. All right. New details emerged linking U.S. to latest coup attempts in Venezuela. Now, I hope everybody that watches our channel knows and accepts that there was another coup attempt. So this is just going to actually explain some of the, what we get from corporate media is not the details. I mean, they barely wanted to talk about this until they had to again. So the government of Venezuela is celebrating after thwarting another foreign-backed coup attempt Sunday, just 2 days after the self-declared another coup attempt by the interim president Juan Guaido. So he calls himself, he pretends every day. He goes about his life pretending that he's the president of a country. And America sides with him. And so our allies are scared of our massive military and our funding that we give to them. So they're like, sure, yeah, he's the president.
Real quick, can I say something on that? Yeah. Just anyone who didn't watch the State of the Union this year, go back and watch it. It and watch for one of their special guests that they had, who was Juan Guaido, the rightful president of Venezuela, when he is not the president of Venezuela. What do you think he's there? He's not the president of anything. No,
he's actually a criminal with a very long criminal record.
Yeah.
For fraud, for violence. He's a wackadoo. I want to be careful and not say a word that might make him send crazy people after me. A wackadoo seems gentle enough.
Wackadoo. Yeah, but yeah, anyways, yeah, I wanted to just like, if you want to see an example, watch the State of the Union, because they prop him up there, and that was.
They do. And everybody, including Nancy Pelosi, all the Democrats,
everyone
there were a couple that didn't stand. But all of them are applauding. You know, the last time, right before he sits down, and that's the end of it, and they show the room, it doesn't look like anyone's sitting. And I'm just like, my stomach's sick right now. He's not. We can't just say we don't like their leader, so here's the leader that we like. And we can't do that, America. All right. A bunch of, or 2 or 3, I'm not sure how many started, but when they got up to land, they had tiny speedboats filled with up to 300 paramilitary units, sailed from their training ground in Colombia, heading for the port near the country's capital of Caracas, from where they were aiming to kickstart an insurrection. They confidently predicted that they would be in Miraflores presidential palace within 96 hours. So that was their prediction. Sorry, I'm only laughing because There's no way that these guys, they have to be delusional, but their leader's delusional. So here we go. However, the mission went spectacularly wrong almost immediately, as they were intercepted by the Venezuelan Navy, who reportedly killed at least 8 in the fighting that occurred at sea. Now, I can only honestly tell you I don't know the details of the fighting at sea right now. I don't want to be on a watch list, so I'm not gonna look that hard for like details of murder scenes on. I don't want that in my history. Okay.
Yeah, that's
and
red flags.
silly. There's no way to find out right now. Okay, let's see. Lots of funny little stories you can find everywhere. One of them was Groundhog Day. Juan Guaido is trying to overthrow the Venezuelan government. Like, again, it's just the same person. Interior Minister Nestor Reverol appeared on television to inform the public that in the early hours of Sunday, a maritime invasion was attempted by a group of terrorist mercenaries coming from Colombia with the intent of committing acts of terrorism inside the country, assassinating leaders of the revolutionary government and increase a spiral of evidence. They wanted to generate chaos and confusion among the public, and from that spark a new attempt at a coup d'etat. Reverol praised the quick response of the armed forced police in repelling the invasion. However, it was fishermen, like a group of their profession as fishermen, and they saw people that looked like, SEAL Team 6 was riding up on them, but a special SEAL Team 6. They were like almost out of gas when they got there. This trip was not well planned out. It's embarrassing. Reverol, this guy, he praised the quick response of the armed forces. Okay. It would seem that the foiled imperialists' attempts to overthrow our legitimately constituted government led by Nicolas Maduro has pushed them to formulate excessive actions without any doubt deserve the forceful repudiation. Sorry, this guy likes to use big words. The forceful repudiation of our people and the international community. So, this is Venezuela's Minister of Interior, and, he has to let the people know that live there that, yes, mercenaries just showed up in our country. Yes, they were planning, just put yourself in their shoes. Off the coast of Georgia, scary Venezuelans were coming in a boat, and they had weapons, and the actual order to kill is, now I cannot confirm that, but that is something that is being looked into, is the thing that they have, the contract. It looks like a contract that they have. They carry on them. These fools have their wallets with their Veterans Association cards in it, their IDs in it, their badges, if they, ex-military, they had those. Why would you care? One had, more than one had passports. Like, you're not going in illegally. How do you explain that you were there when you go to leave? Like, there's no so, hold on. Red-nosed the reindeer.
You're all good. Don't worry about it.
I'm fast. My nosie's red. Oh, it's all red. I am Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Look at that.
You, okay. Shiny nose.
The American connection. Both Guaido and the U.S. State Department denied any involvement in the embarrassing affair. The latter releasing a statement reading, quote, "The Maduro regime has been consistent in its use of misinformation in order to shift focus from its mismanagement of Venezuela." End quote. On Friday, Guaido attempted his own coup d'etat, apparently, with U.S. input, but it went so poorly that few, even inside Venezuela, even noticed. Shouldn't be laughing. It's a serious offense. However, there is extremely strong evidence to suggest that both Guaido and the U.S. government were intimately involved in the botched insurrection from the start. It is not clear that Friday's attempt was distinct from Sunday's. Firstly, Jordan Godreau, an ex-Green, I'm sure I'm butchering his name, and I am sorry, even if he is a ding-dong. Jordan Godreau, an ex-Green Beret and the owner of a large private mercenary organization in Florida, came forward to reveal that he had organized the coup attempt. And he had receipts to prove it. Like, he was proud of this. Godreau produced a signed $212 million contract drawn up between him and Guaido, where the Venezuelan people, taxpayers, would pay his company nearly $250 million for strategic planning and project execution. Those are called project execution services, and you can imagine what they are. Godreau said he had been in contact with the U.S. government. Furthermore, in an interview, one of the captured coup plotters confirmed that 2 American citizens have also been detained, and they are connected to President Trump's security team. There are photos. I can post them like I do after we've, not live anymore, a picture of, and you can look at the contract, with their signed on it. It's crazy, and it gets crazier.
One of the dates that they...
I'm sorry, the dates?
Yeah, one of the dates I remember was November 8th of 2018, where they did security for President Trump.
Yes. Okay, I thought you were talking about the date of the contract to kill, and that date entered in general services agreement entered into the 16th day of October 2019. So go back to October and November and look at Pompeo, Mike Bolton, any of those people's Twitter account and see the stuff they were saying. And that sounds, I'm of course tinfoil hattish, but if it's a fact, it's a fact. If during that time they were saying things like, we're finally going to get freedom for Venezuela and it's going to happen soon. They have been saying that a lot. And so I'm not saying it is proof of that. It's just a lot of coincidences. Of course, be skeptical. Don't listen to me. It should be understood that Godreau is not a whistleblower. Far from it. He is proud of his actions despite their failure. Nothing I'm doing is illegal, he dubiously asserted. There are other people in the country who are ready to flip. They just need a catalyst, he added. Just as questionably. So, he just wanted to come out in front, I guess. He knew people were going to say that he was the leader of this, and he just wanted to be like, dude, I got this. Hold my beer. So, where was I? They kept promising to pay. His social media accounts show him to be a strong supporter of Donald Trump and the Make America Great Again movement. The only reason he produced the documents, he revealed, is that Guaido stiffed him for money, refusing to pay even $1.5 million retainer fee he had promised. So he's mad that he didn't get this money. He's supposed to get $212 million, and he didn't even get the retainer fee from Guaido. That directly from this guy's mouth. They kept promising to pay week after week. he revealed in an interview with a Spanish language TV station. This sort of behavior is perhaps not unexpected coming from a politician who promised Mike Pence that he controlled half the Venezuelan military and is widely accused of embezzling over 90 million of US public money, taxpayer money. That's what he's accused of right now. One of the things. A December poll found him to have favorability rating of 10% in his country. This is the fake president. His unfavorability. It's really hard for my tongue to do tonight. That rating is like 69% of the country say, no way, we don't like him. They think of him as a criminal. He's trying to, forcefully take their government. That was before he was removed by his allies from his role of head of Venezuelan National Assembly. So he was the head of their far right political party. He was even removed as a member of his own party. So he was the head of it and then not even a member of it. Because he's too uncontrollable. He's a violent man, and so
think of like a young Mitch McConnell who gets kicked out of his party and is like, you know what? Now I'm president. Then basically that. Him trying to take power is literally like in our country would actually be like more like Nancy Pelosi being like, oh, this is bullshit. I don't like this president. You're welcome. I'm president now. Just saying it. It don't work that way.
Or Mitch McConnell, just I'm president now. That's crazy. No, you're not.
It's not how it works. Yeah, but I'm telling the military to help me, and the military's like, all right, not really though. No,
the military is not on his side at all. At all.
This has been going on for over a year now. Over a year. We have to touch on this at least like once a month.
Yes, they have. I mean, when he got kicked out, remember the footage? We talked about it here on LEAH where he had to like run and jump over a fence. He was trying to get into his work because they were like, no, you can't come here no more. Like or maybe that was two stories mixed into one, but there are photos of him. I've read so much about this guy, and it was months and months ago. He is he's scarier than it's like someone who can break into being that violent that fast is not safe. It's not a safe person, and you don't want someone like that leading a country, because if you don't matter to him, you don't matter. That's the whole thing. Okay. Let's see. Timeline of incompetence. So this is important. The weekend's coup attempts were the latest in a long line of botched U.S.-backed regime change attempts. In 2019, Juan Guaido tried 4 times in January, April, and twice in November to overthrow Maduro and force his way into power, despite never having run for the nation's top office, not once. The attempt in April consisted mostly of him posing on a bridge above a military base, insisting to the nation that he had captured it and the armed forces were rebelling against Maduro. The charade became increasingly hard to sustain after state TV began broadcasting inside the base, revealing how small this group of his group of supporters were. The November coup went so poorly that most Venezuelans did not even realize. They had, meanwhile, his co-conspirators from January event fled to the U.S., where they thought they would be treated as heroes. America loves, they're trying to save us. Instead, they were arrested and incarcerated in an ICE concentration camp for illegally crossing the border and have remained there ever since. So, America ain't got no love. They are using you. The US government is using you. They want to have a puppet in Venezuela. And if you will help them do that, they will use you for it. If you die during that, you're on your own. If you get captured, you're on your own. And you come here because you helped us, they don't care. It's I bet that is a harsh reality for these guys that are sitting in ICE detention camps, thinking, what we're trying to, you guys told us to, just, I bet their little minds are just blown. In 2018, let's see, the opposition attempted to assassinate Maduro using a drone bomb while he was giving a public speech. In 2014 and 2017, it unleashed a deadly wave of terror, bombing subway stations, buses, grain stores, preschools, and universities. These guys are evil. And lynching and burning Afro-Venezuelans in the street while they're alive. This was largely presented as a peaceful protest in Western media. Meanwhile, in 2013 and 2018, they refused to accept their electoral defeats, instead urging their supporters to vent their anger on the streets, leading to many deaths. Going further back, in 2001, they attempted to have a former President Hugo Chavez sanctioned under the mental health clause in the new constitution, claiming he was insane. Throughout this, the United States has provided crucial help, spending hundreds of millions of dollars funding any group opposing the socialist regime. In recent years, it has also inflicted deadly sanctions on the country, responsible for economic collapse and over 100,000 deaths, according to an American UN special rapporteur who visited the country. All this in the name of democracy promotion. What do you want us to do? Leaders, quote, it may take 5, even 10 failed attempts, but we will get rid of this government, end quote. What a strange dictatorship Venezuela is, where world-renowned pro-democracy activists can wage a decade-long campaign of terrorism, assassinations, and coups, free to travel the country and the world, promoting their cause with virtually no consequences from the tyrannical government. And this is the world we live in.
Bingo. Yeah.
I have to, because it's just maddening. I've been more humorous about this coup attempt than the last few. I guess it's just, how sad is that? Then I'm getting callous to coup d'etats. What the fuck? America, that's not nice. That's not nice to do to me. If I hit an animal while driving, I pull over. Like, so I need a moment. I need to know if it's gonna make it, be with it in its final moments. Like, and now I'm getting callous. Like, oh, it's another coup attempt. I find so much humor in this particular story. Fishermen. It's not a word, but it is tonight. They took down the second-rate Guaido SEAL Team 7.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, don't get me wrong.
And they're not done.
I'm sad there was death. I am. And I am scared for the people who are in prison. They're in prison for terrorism. So their life is fucked. And they had their wallets. Like, oh, you guys, men, open your wallets. How much information is in there?
Yeah.
That's what they brought with them.
Yeah. I want to recap just a teeny bit, and not on what you just went over, but like why all of this is happening. And this goes back to something that we had mentioned in our last show. To someone who is super privileged, equality seems like oppression.
Yep.
That's what it's like in Venezuela. They actually have some form of a socialist government, and it isn't great.
It would be wonderful if all of the sanctions and embargoes were taken off of them.
Yes.
It would flourish.
Yes, that's honestly what I was about to say. Because I'm sick of having, like, feeling like I have to caveat that, well, it's not a great government, or he is really, really bad. Like, I don't know that much personally about Maduro, but the policies that he actually helps his citizens with,
Right.
they're good. They're good. They're good things, and some of them are half-assed, like the housing that they build, or like the apartments for people, public housing. There's certain things they can't get for the elevators, so they're
Because
they're
of
not
sanctions
functional
and
because we
embargo.
have sanctioned. Yes,
They aren't
and then
able to
they
get
blame it on
medicine
socialism.
for chronically ill, for people who have degenerative diseases that are some of the worst ones to have. Certain medications that those diagnoses one of those were diagnoses, have to have these medications. And even though our government reassures us that sanctions aren't war, excuse me, sanctions aren't war, that it's us putting pressure on their government, but that's not it at all. What you're doing is you're making the people of that country go without. You are stopping them from getting medicines, things that they need, because you are hoping governments that put sanctions, which I'm talking about America, I mean, they're the sanction king. They're doing it to make the economy scream. They want the people to be so unhappy because they haven't been able to get flour for a year, so there's no bread, or they haven't been able to get any cleaning products imported if they don't make them there, which Venezuela makes a lot of their own things because of this. But there are a lot of things that they don't, and they need that. We have trade. Other countries trade, and we tell our allies, if you trade with them under this sanctions or embargo, like Cuba, we will put sanctions on you. So we bully them to make sure that their economy, which is not really, I hate that they say that, sanctions are they hurt the leaders at the top, and yes, there's pressure on the economy, but we promise it doesn't trickle down. But that's only who it hurts, is the people.
Only trickles down.
Only, yes. But I think that the warmongers are hoping, when they do that, they're hoping that the people will be so irate that they will rise up and there'll be a revolution in the country. America, think about that. Even a parent knows, if you say don't do something to a kid, what are they immediately going to do? Well, that's the same kind of thinking. There's this country up above us as Venezuela that is putting sanctions on us, that is making sure that we're suffering. So you think that they're going to be mad at their government? They're going to be mad at America and be tighter with their government. You just ensured that they're going to stand more in solidarity against the actual foe. It's just a bunch of dinglings that are running this room.
Yeah, no kidding. It's at least it's annoying.
Yeah.
At worst, it's what it is. All right. Anyways, is that all you have for Venezuela? All right. Well, I think we'll go.
I know you asked me, is that all?
Yeah.
Yes, I will be putting all of this underneath, and there is a lot. If you guys want more information on all of that. Gray Zone has a lot of information on it, and Mint Press has a lot of information on it, and it's still, going. We don't know what's actually going to happen to the prisoners, the Americans. Unfortunately, I was talking to Stacy last night. I think that in a roundabout way, this was a on purpose. Well, all false flags are on purpose, and I don't want to sound conspiratorial. However, yes, if you send a whole bunch of expendables, people that brought their wallets on a mission to kill a world leader, you send them, promise to pay them, never ever even give them the down payment, send them on dinghies, tiny little dinghy boats, with weapons, and they didn't have enough gas. Like, this whole thing was almost like the people who sent them knowing they wouldn't come back. And now the neocons in our country can say, you see what they did? They have our American soldiers support the troops, and we need to invade. And that's what I'm terrified of, is that they're going to use this as, we have to go in now.
Right. Yeah. And they're not our soldiers, right? They're ex-military. They're mercenaries.
They're ex. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vets.
So, that's bullshit.
Support our veterans. Vets matter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to use all of that. And yes, vets matter. And you should support them. But I don't care if you're a vet, a mom, a nurse, a grandma, if you're out wanting to kill people for money, like, I'm sorry, you should be in jail wherever country you end up with your wallet and passport.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just
voter ID card.
Voter ID card. Like, dude, we don't even need their fingerprints. Like, dental records are in the wallet. Like, he's yes.
So, so that's all that.
That's all that.
I'm a little confused because it's only a little past 11:30, and I think we're actually pretty much done for the night. We actually got through everything pretty quickly, and even had time to rant some.
Ransom?
Ransom.
Who are you taking for ransom?
Plead the fifth. So, yeah, I don't really have anything to add. That was great, Christy, as always. It's just that the whole story's wackadoo, man. That's wacky, and it always is. Every time we have to talk about Venezuela, like, it's just something else. It's just something else.
Really, really sad, actually.
It is.
The people there actually want democracy. They actually participate in democracy. They vote at unbelievable numbers, nothing like here. Half of the country votes, sometimes less than half the country votes. And I feel so bad for them, because I do put myself in their shoes and imagine being, me and Stacy in an apartment in Caracas or anywhere in Venezuela, grew up there, and there is this massive, America's got to be pretty scary and like domineering to other countries. We do not have a military base in Venezuela, and we don't have a military base in Russia. We don't have one in a couple places. And if you find a map of the whole world with American military bases on them, what you see is the countries where there are none, there's American bases surrounding them. And that's fucking scary.
Yep.
I have the luxury of growing up in the country with all of those military bases surrounding sovereign, independent countries. And so even if I try to put myself in the shoes of someone, with a dominating country with a very scary and very high-tech military surrounding my country, what that would feel like. And I wouldn't want that. So I don't think any country should be able to do that.
Shouldn't be able to. That's why we have the United Nations, but we undercut them every way we can, every time. And who? But anyways, cheer us up, Christy. We're going to move on to community news. And the first thing we have is the Gray Report.
48 weeks.
48 weeks? Well, what are we going to do for 50 weeks?
The little bunnies and these sweethearts, they're so good.
Sweethearts are the best anyways.
They are yummy. Oh, actually, I have this nifty light that my brother from another mother and his wife put up, so I'll turn that up. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
In the sun, it looks like silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And
that it looks like that right here, like everywhere.
That's awesome.
Except
now, did you message me earlier and say that you cut 7 inches off?
Oh, I did.
Yeah?
I did. Yeah. It comes.
How's that feel?
It feels weird. I never carry like a ponytail holder around my wrist ever because I just put my hair in a knot. I just tie it in a knot. And actually found out recently within the last few months. I was like, Stacy, did you know how I do my hair all the time just in this knot? That was the way the Vikings, they found one of the bog women who was a Viking with her hair tied in a knot. And I was like, oh, I do that. But I just do it because it's better. Ponytail holders can cause breakage where they're holding. So I tie it in a knot. And to tie it in a knot now, before I would have a ponytail hanging out of the middle of the knot, and now I don't. It's like so short, it just like sticks out. So, but it is still right under the boobs. So as long as it's under the boobs, I'm fine. But it was in my pants. Like if I pulled my pants up and button them, I have to reach back and pull my hair out of my pants. It was too much.
It's a lot. Yes. So
I
do you just like feel lighter?
Can't get away from it. Yes, it actually does feel a lot lighter. Yeah. I did it with clippers.
Oh.
With clippers, I did tiny little sections at a time. I mean, I do hair, so it's smarter to always do that for anyone that cuts their own hair. You wouldn't want to cut a chunk like this. You'd want to start really small, tiny sections. And yes, I have curly hair and straight hair. I let it air dry, and that's what happens. So we call this MBH. That's my MBH. That's monkey butt hair.
Ah, it's a good name for it.
I've had MBH since the day I met Stacy. I've had it my whole life. So it just is monkey butt hair back here. It gets curly. But if you see back here, the silver is down to, touches my shoulder in the back.
Whoa. 48 weeks.
48 weeks, I know. And then I think about how many weeks are in a year, and I'm like, I remember thinking, I can't wait till it gets this to at least here, because then it will look like, I made a decision instead of like, oh, she needs to get that done. So at least now, when I put it in a ponytail, the hair that sticks out, the first little bit is silver. I'm like, I have on purpose hair.
Yeah.
And
you too.
MBA.
You made it through the hardest part for sure. So, super cool.
I have been messaged on Twitter from women saying that, looking through pictures, your hair inspired me to stop coloring. I'm like, stop right now.
Aww.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Because I made messages like that to women whose hair I saw growing out all the way or halfway, like, okay, since I've seen yours, you're the one that did it. And I wanted to let you know that, that's awesome. I never really thought of how awkward it would feel doing that. I do it because that's what I meant. Like, you really inspired me. I thought you should know because I wanted you to know that you're pretty awesome and you inspired me to grow my hair out. But when someone says it to you, I'm glad it's all on messages because it takes you aback. You're like, oh man, that's really awesome.
That really is. It really is. Good for you being a leader and awesome stuff.
And being a hippie, just stop doing your hair. What's your secret? I just stopped doing it.
Just stop.
Yeah. I won't, I can't not shave under my arms. So like, I've tried, like, how nice would that be just to, yeah, I can't see that. I'm like, ah! What is going on? I have orangutan hair growing out of my underarm.
You're killing me with that. I'm dying. All right. So I think we're going to wrap up on that note. Also, we have one more thing for the night. I will link it down below. Nacha had me on to kick off his takeover of Atheist Flashbacks, my own series on Grey Skeptic. And it was awesome. It was really good, and it was rough. It was rough. If you guys don't know, Atheist Flashbacks is a series that I started where I interview an atheist as their former religious self. So you don't just get to answer questions about what it was or about your deconversion or anything like that. It's like, no, you jump back into your old shoes and you do your best to give your old religion like do it justice as your former self would like. And it's really difficult. It's really interesting. And we finally did mine. And this is Nacho's takeover. So yeah, please check out the link below. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you guys all appreciate it. So make sure you watch it, like it, make sure you subscribe to Nacho Witness, and share it around, guys. So other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you again for joining us on another Friday night. And we'll see you next week.
Stay humanist is what I was going to say.
Stay humanist.
Yeah.
Stay humanist.